Now, why would you ever doubt the man from 134th place after day one to being able to qualify for the first Trio Cash Cup finals of the season? The team of Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual, the back-to-back NA FNCS champions, were able to get the job done. Let's go over everybody else that was able to qualify, what the finals map is looking like, and who my own personal top 5 predictions are for the first finals of the season. We're going to see who starts though. Please subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, as we try our best to upload daily competitive content for you guys. If you guys want to support me even more, the best way to do so is by using code KDOG in the Fortnite item shop. Follow me on my Twitch or come back here on the day of finals if you guys want to watch the NA Cash Cup finals with me. Without further ado though, let's get this video started. So the trio that was able to finish in first place, the only team on both either NA or EU to break the 1,000 point mark, was Rapid Canada in Bolts. They finished this tournament with 1,040 points, won 3 out of their 18 matches, and finished with far and away the most elims in this entire tournament with 304 total elims. The trio that is coming off of getting third place in the most recent grand finals, they are looking absolutely primed up right now. Second place is Noxy Void in SU, one of our brand new trios. Third place, another brand new trio of G Money Josh and Rise on 883. I talked about them a little bit in my day one opens recap video, but I have really liked what this team has shown to us so far. Fourth place, another brand new trio of Curve, Tyler, and Craze. This is another team that I am very excited to see how they're actually going to look in the finals, because they also have a very good drop spot, fully uncontested. Fifth place is a trio that I feel like has a lot to prove this week of Clixie, Amzo, and Higgs. They finished on 810 points, won 3 out of their 15 matches, and got 194 total elims. We all know that they are coming off of by far their most disappointing grand finals performance together as a trio, and I think they need a good first Cash Cup of the season to not only just get people to start believing in them a little bit more, but also just so they can get their self-confidence up a little bit. Sixth place is Seek Mason in Golden. Seventh place is another one of our LAN teams. Back-to-back top 5s in NA FNCS Grand Finals of Visuals Braids and Diminished. Eighth place is Possessed Victor V in Paper. Ninth place is Sandman. And then rounding out the top 10 is an EU trio of Fido, Cringe, and Zynox. Some of our other LAN teams just outside that top 10 is like 11th place of Phaser King and PH Zen. They're continuing to play on NA. They've been continuing to qualify for every single set lobby finals as well. 22nd place of Mush, Shadow, and Sphinx. 26th place of Recooper and Curly. Another trio that had a pretty disappointing most recent FNCS Grand Finals, and they definitely want to start getting back on the right track now. 27th place of Agers, Acorn, and Poyo. And then in 28th place, we do have the team that I talked about at the beginning of this video of Ritual, Cold, and Peterbot on 677. They won 1 out of their 20 matches and finished with 199 elims as well. And I just have to say this about Cold right now. He is playing absolutely out of his mind. I don't think that I am personally ready yet to say that he is a better individual player than Peter right now, but I think there definitely is a real argument that both last season and so far this season as well, Cold has been outperforming Peter, and he has arguably looked like the best player in the entire world. I think we all just have to stop doubting Cold at this point. It doesn't matter how much he grinds the game. It doesn't matter if he takes a week vacation. This dude could literally take a month off of the game. He could come back, and I would still probably predict him to look like one of the best players in the entire world. Like, the natural talent that he has is just absolutely mind-boggling. And then that was really about it for all of the big names that were able to make it into the finals. So you guys can correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section down below, but I'm pretty sure every single one of our NA Central LAN teams was able to make this finals. I think the only big name trio that was not able to make it was unfortunately 202nd place of Aviv, Booga, and Skittles. They literally only played 10 total matches though. They didn't even bother queuing up today. I really hope that Booga is able to find a duo that he wants to grind the game with. There has been some rumors that he could potentially play with Arc, but yeah, him not even playing day 2 at all is not necessarily looking the best for him right now. All right, let's take a look at the finals map now and then make some predictions as well. I think our main big name team that is currently contested is Peterbot, Code, and Ritual taking on Akira, Lixium, and Karama at the OXR base. I'm not gonna lie though, I wouldn't be super surprised if Akira's trio leaves. They are a double controller EU trio, and even if they do end up landing there, I also wouldn't be surprised if Peter's trio wins 6-0 off spawn versus them. there is really not very many instances where a team with Peterbot and Cold should be losing to a double controller EU team off spawn. Some other big name off spawn fights we have is like Phaser King and PH Zen versus Contraps Trio. Don't really know too much about those guys if I'm being honest. And then something that you're gonna see in this season is, since this is a LAN season, a lot of these super big name trios are just claiming mid-tier POI so they can be uncon at globals. So we have instances now where Taki, Sales, and Vert are getting a fully uncontested Rebels, and then even like Curve, Tyler, and Craze are getting an uncontested Hive. Let's go over my top 5 predictions now. Starting off with, in 5th place, I am gonna go with the trio of Muzz, Shadow, and Sphinx. They looked absolutely insane in the grand finals. They have a lot of teams around them that they can potentially trade with or W key even if they wanted to, kind of similar to how they did in grands. I think for this first finals of the season, I just have to believe in our current LAN trios, and then if one of the more underrated teams shows us that they can be really good out of their drop spot, I'll predict them higher in the future. But the team I'm gonna go with in 4th place is Rapid, Kanata, and Bolt. Now, I'm not gonna lie, they are in a pretty good spot with both of these two teams being contested around them. I just honestly have a lot of confidence that either Peter's gonna end up getting the spot fully uncontested, or they're just gonna wipe Kurama's team off spawn. But they could get some potential free cleanups on this fight over here. And like always, they can still also trade with Clix, Yamzo, and Higgs, and that is the team that I am going to predict to finish in 3rd place. I'm not gonna lie though, this team is on like a really short stick for me right now. If they have another dud performance, I think I just have to predict Kanata above them for literally everything for the rest of the season, all the way from the rest of the Cash Cups to even probably globals as well. I feel like a lot of people forget that this team did get back-to-back 2nd places in the only 2 Div Cups that were played last season, so I think they are still a very solid Div Cup team, and I'm gonna predict them to finish in 3rd place. 2nd place, I'm gonna go with Ritual, Peterbot, and Cold. I've already explained so many times about their off-spawn situation. I think if they're able to potentially get free Elim points plus Surge every single game off spawn, they are one of the only trios in the lobby that I think maybe even has a chance to keep up with points on the team I'm going to predict to win the whole thing of Agers, Acorn, and Poyo. They have arguably the best PY on the map, completely uncontested. To me, to be honest, they look like the best trio in the last grand finals, and if they simply just won their off spawn fights, they would be our defending FNCS champions right now. But I'm also not gonna lie, I think that this should probably be a relatively simple win for Agers, Acorn, and Poyo this week. Moving on to the final statistics here now. Unfortunately, we only have day 2 because the cumulative leaderboard is not working. The highest damage ratio though, oh my goodness, I don't know how you pronounce this guy's name, but a 4.01 damage ratio is absolutely insane. Bolts had 14,519 damage. Cold was in 2nd with 14,000, and then Peter was in 3rd. The most assists was Kanata with 17. So support Nada is playing his role perfectly. Time and Storm, Time Alive, distance travels, everything like that is down here. And then the entire elimination leaderboard is 10th place of Poyo with 43, 9th place of King, 8th place of Rapid, 7th place of Peter. So honestly, a pretty low position for Peter. 6th place of Kanata, 5th place of Eshu, 4th place of Braids. To me, another one of the most underrated fraggers in the game right now. Void in 3rd, Bolt in 2nd with 62, and then Cold in 1st place with 64 elims. The comeback day that Peter, Cold, and Ritual had today was so fun to watch. Let's actually move on to how EU went now though. Now in EU, we saw 8 full LAN trios be able to qualify for the finals, but starting off with was one of the trios that was unfortunately not able to make LAN. They placed 2nd place 3 times in the last chance qualifiers. It is the trio of Comeback Shark and Blaha, a 974. They won 5 out of their 20 matches and finished with 211 elims as well. A super amazing opens performance from them. 2nd place has been one of the trios that has been the talk of the town ever since last night when Peterbot announced that they are now going to be contesting them. It is the trio of Venya, Pixie, and Marius on 952. They won 2 out of their 18 matches and got 228 total elims, which, if you guys are curious, was the most elims in the entirety of opens. This trio also is potentially going to be one of our favorites to win this week as well, since of course this is EU and they will be fully uncontested for the finals. 3rd place was Sky Scroll and Sandguild on 830. 4th place, another one of our LAN teams of Chris, Tayson, and Chicho on 822. I'm very interested to see how this trio is actually going to look this week. This is the big week for them, the first week that they are going to be fighting off spawn 6 out of 6 games versus Ferdoxy, Pablo, and Chino. And I feel like not enough people are talking about that by the end of finals, If Ferdoxy's team just absolutely runs through them, Ferdoxy could have arguably the first or the second best POI completely uncontested for globals. But I mean, Tayson's team could also just go out there, absolutely shock everybody. And if Tayson's trio is somehow able to win off spawn, there is going to be some crazy discussions that are had. Fifth place is Vico, Vino, and Flixie on 790. They won 3 out of their 17 matches and finished with 209 elims. Another one of our LAN trios that's going to be fully uncontested in this finals. This team definitely does have win potential for me, not only just week in the finals, but also for the global championships. Sixth place, another one of our LAN teams that is fully uncontested as of right now, of iDrop Hari and Cammy on 788. They continue to look very good in all the tournaments that they play together. 7th place is Cheat and Trexer and Mappy on 767. 8th place is Howley. 9th place is Akira. And then rounding out the top 10 is Rax, Yanis, and Momsy on 750. So the other LAN teams that we have that were able to qualify is like 20th place of Pixstar Mandemus on 696. This trio is going to be contested at the Rainbow Split in the Global Championships, but in this EU Finals, they will be fully uncontested. 21st place, another one of our potential Cash Cup winning teams this week and potential LAN winning teams as well, is Swizzy, Queasy, and Murstache. I'm pretty sure that Queasy is also back home on 0 ping now, or at least he will be by the time that finals actually starts. And I've seen a lot of people really doubting this trio recently, so I think this could be a big week for them to prove a lot of people wrong and still show that they are one of the best teams in the entire world. 22nd place, another one of our LAN teams of Focus, Mixon, and Upple. 24th place, Chino, Pablo, and Ferdoxy. Pretty much talked about them a bunch when we talked about Tayson's trio. Absolutely huge off-spawn fight that we're going to see in the finals. Pink, Thomas HD, and Sato in 27th. And then in 32nd place was Vidil, Chap, and Mr. Savage on 641. So Chap and Mr. Savage, obviously LAN players, we're not able to play with Rezon this week since Rezon is actually currently on vacation. I did already speak about this before, but if you guys didn't hear me talk about it, I do definitely wish that Rezon was somehow able to play this week. I think that this trio really does need as much possible practice going into the global championships as possible, especially together. But I think Vidil also has a very similar player archetype to somebody like Rezon. So I'm still excited to see how these guys are going to look in the finals. And then we unfortunately had quite a bit of LAN teams not be able to make the finals, like 34th place of Seti, Yapko, and their fill for this week of Teeny. I also said this before, but Panzer is currently in the middle of trying to get his visa. So Seti and Yapko ended up picking up Teeny, who is one of the potential fill players that they can play with for the global championships if Panzer is not able to secure his visa in time. And this trio was unfortunately just 1 point off of being able to qualify for the finals. Another one of our super big LAN teams in 49th place of Pingwalks and Malabuka. Definitely a potential concerning sign out of this trio right here. They're coming off of a very rough grand finals. I'm still not necessarily super worried about this team. I think this will be a nice little wake-up call for them, and I would almost bet money that they qualify for every single one of the rest of the Div Cups for the rest of the season now. But definitely wanted to see this team in the finals, and we're not going to be able to. Let's take a look at what the current map looks like here now, and we have a lot of our LAN teams fully uncontested. Like Mr. Savage is going to be fully uncon, Queasy fully uncon, Vino, Vico, Flixie fully uncon, Venya fully uncon, iDrop fully uncon, Pixstar Mandemus fully uncon. Our main off-spawn fights is obviously, this is the main event right here, Riz, Tayson, and Chicho versus Chino, Pablo, and Ferdoxy. I'm gonna predict the off-spawn score to be 4-2 in favor of Ferdoxy's trio. We also have like Combeck, Shark, and Blaha versus Howley, Daniel Puzo, and Hizix. It's pretty funny on EU since Poyo's trio claimed Demon's Debris for LAN. Pretty much no super good EU trio is going either the best or the second best drop on the entire map. Let's start off with my actual predictions now, and in 5th place, I'm gonna go with one of the LAN teams that is fully uncontested of iDrop, Hari, and Cammy. This team was able to qualify for the global championships while being contested at this drop spot for over half of their games. I think they are a very solid trio. The thing with them is always going to be, they're not going to get the most elims in the world, but they should be one of the most consistent teams in the entire lobby, and I think that'll be enough to propel them into a top 5 finish. 4th place, I'm going to go with the trio of Pix, Darm, and Demus. In a pretty heavy fighting meta, I think Pix, Darm, and Demus' trio is going to thrive in that amazingly. I'm not super high on them in the global championship since they are going to be contested off spawn, but in something like this where they're fully uncontested, have fights all around them right here, I also wouldn't be surprised if they finish around that top 3 mark. But for my top 3, I'm just going to go with what I believe is the 3 best teams in this lobby. Third place, I'm gonna go with Venya, Pixie, and Marius out of a fully uncontested OXR base. And then my top two, I was so back and forth on, but second place, I am gonna go with Vino, Vico, and Flixie. Now, these guys have a fully uncontested Canyon Crossing. They seem to absolutely be loving this drop spot as of right now. They are one of, if not the best fighting team in this entire lobby, coming off of getting second place in grand finals, and I think they go back-to-back second places. But for my first place trio this week, I'm gonna believe in Swizzy, Queasy, and Merstash. I've absolutely loved how they looked recently, and I think this is going to be a real prove it week for this trio, because I think they need to prove not only to the community but also to themselves that they can still be a winning capable trio on EU and just in the entire world in general. And this pick might come back to bite me, but I am going to go with Queasy's trio to win week 1 of the EU Trio Cash Cup Finals. Alright, let's check out the final statistics now for day 2 of the Trio Cash Cup Opens. Unfortunately, the cumulative stats are still broken, so we can only see the day 2 stats, but the highest damage ratio was Nebs with a 2.38. Most damage to players was Enkiduo with 12,343. Second place was Swizzy with 11,905. The most assists was Thomas HD with 58. You can see Time and Storm, Time Alive, Matt's Farm, hits the players, everything like that right here if you guys want to. And then for the entire Elam leaderboard, we have Shark in 10th, Vostroki in 9th, Sato in 8th, Marius in 7th, Blaha in 6th, Rax in 5th, Swizzy in 4th, Chicho in 3rd, Pixie in 2nd, and then Enkiduo in 1st place with 51 total elims. I did see Swizzy say on Twitter that he is on 70 ping right now, so I don't know if Swizzy has also not got approved for his visa yet, and if he's going to be on 70 ping in the finals, that does kind of concern me a bit more for my actual prediction, but I'm just going to stick with it, believe in them, and hope for the best. Other than that though, remember, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, as we try our best to upload daily competitive content for you guys. If you guys want to support me even more, the best way to do so is by using code KDOG in the Fortnite item shop. YouTube says enjoy winning suit videos up on the screen right now, so go check them out if you guys haven't already. Remember to follow me on my Twitch or come back here on the day of finals for NA if you guys want to watch the first Trio Cash Cup finals of the season with me. Thank God for another day, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.